for these young dancers out of Detroit. Let me tell you.
Well, I mean, you can get me into a lot of stuff by mentioning that ballet is a part of the story that you're telling. As a matter of fact, I did an interview with Maggie Shipstead a long time ago that I should probably make into a Saturday podcast, seeing as I haven't done a Saturday podcast in like 2 weeks, where she wrote a novel called Astonish Me. And it's awesome. I really love it. And then I remember how much I enjoyed watching Center Stage. And I tried to do whatever the dark drama ballet deal is on like Amazon for free. And I was like, it's a little too far in one direction for me, guys. Like, y'all got to ratchet this one down just a little bit. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that's like, oh, Save the Last Dance. Like, we pretend like that movie never happened. That's just me. That's just me. But I think I might actually give that a read because I'm also trying to do a lot of Misty research here of late. And, you know, we also got the Tall Chief sisters that are from, you know, Pawhuska. So I don't know what it is about ballet that I enjoy because it's certainly not. I can't just be like I'm a ballet aficionado because I'm not. But I do.
Do you like dance?
No, right? And that's what's weird. Like, I don't like dancing. I don't like reading about the rudiments of dancing. Like I took history of dance at TU, and it was all I could do to write 800 words about Bill T. Jones and not just be like, I would rather be doing anything else. I mean, I got a B in that class, and I'm happy about it, but like, nah, man. But if you tell me a story that has to do with dancers, I'm there for it because I think what I enjoy is kind of like in football or baseball or any sport. It's as much to me about the physical exertion and the commitment to rote practice because I'm a rote practice guy, right? Thousands of reps. That's how you get good. Forget the 10,000 hours. I think this warped everybody's thinking. But things that require intense, over-the-top practice, I'm here for. So I'll read about swimmers, right? I'll read about some golfers. But the dudes that just wake up and can do stuff only kind of get me so far, right? I'm into the superhero origin story. So if you're going to tell me about how Wolverine became Wolverine, I'm here for it. If you're going to tell me stories about Wolverine being Wolverine, I'm only here for it if I was here for the origin. So I guess that's how a lot of people feel about their favorite garage bands. It's like, no, I don't particularly like, well, by example, I don't particularly like All American Rejects, but I was here when they became a thing. And I enjoy knowing that, so I'll listen to their music, and it means something different to me than it does anybody else. I'm sure you have the same experience.
Well, I'd say that when you say that you're into this, like the grind, so I would say that if you're watching Rocky, you could kind of sort of care less about the fight against Apollo or Mr. T or whatever. It's more so like, give me those training montages.
Mm-hmm.
Give me those times outside of the gym where it's like, I don't know if I have the time or the money or the gumption to be able to achieve this dream. You need to be able to see the accumulation of effort into a dream achieved. Like, that's not to say that you don't like a good story about a freak athlete. That's a once in a generation, but that can't be the story. Is that you're just good, right? It has to be something almost completely unrelated to being good. It has to be being inside the industry where you have to be good, right?
Yeah, and
go ahead. One more thing,
please.
So, like when you say like you weren't into All American Rejects, you sound like the type of person that is very sincere when they say, "I liked them before they were good. I liked them before they were big. I liked them before they were cool." Because all that stuff before they were cool is watching the garage band shows, watching the getting the album that was taped in somebody's bedroom. It's all the like, I'm here along for the journey uphill till as we reach whatever climax that being cool or big or famous is.
So watch this.
Okay.
That's how college football works for me. the reason that I really enjoy college football is because I know the stories of the high school football players when they are eighth graders, ninth graders, all the way up, and less about them being pieces of meat that are ranked and jumped in rankings and have 4 stars or 5 stars. And to that degree, the same thing is true of college football coaches, right? You'll hear people tell you stories about these teams from way back when because they mean something different to them. And then it helps that, in 1985, Oklahoma won a national championship. But if you don't know that Ricky Dixon is a true freshman on that team and how he ended up at Oklahoma, it probably doesn't mean the same thing to you. Like, Ricky Dixon was not supposed to be at OU. He was not being recruited heavily by OU, and Barry Switzer saw him play. He was undersized, but he knew where the ball was. And Switzer told his DB coach to go get him, and we'll see if it works. And Ricky Dixon is, quite honestly, the greatest defensive back Oklahoma has ever produced. And I'm including Roy Williams and Derek Strait in that conversation, along with Darrell Royal, who somehow had like 18 interceptions back before they were actually like throwing the ball. And then you go look at tape of around the period when Darrell K. Royal was playing football. You're like, I don't know if that's an interception because it looks like a fumble. It looks like they just fumbled forward in the air, because you'll look at some of these throws and you'll be like, how?
And you know what? That's what he thought too.
That's where I'm at, right? So, like, when I talk about basketball, baseball, whatever, I'm always interested in where these kids were in high school and what they were doing in high school, and to a degree, what they were doing before, but more so their freshman or sophomore years. Because, like, I'm very fond of saying, like, Pat Mahomes is from White House, Texas, which was a plantation, because, the colors mean something different to anybody that's not paying attention. White House, Texas, mostly white town or all white town. Greenwoods, the Redbirds, reds, browns, greens, those are welcoming places for black folks. The places with white in the name, historically not so, right? And then I look at places like Alabama and how football has become a part of the ecosystem, and the entire state is dependent on how good that team is or isn't, which is why everybody who knows from Alabama football will tell you, as soon as Nick Saban is not able to do this anymore, we will be quick. There will be no long goodbye. It will be very quick, fast, and in a hurry. And you know what? Nick Saban is probably going to be the first person to tell you such a thing. Be like, nope, can't do it anymore. Which is why I think right now is really interesting, because looking at Bill Connelly's SP+, Nick Saban's defense this year in 2020 is on par with Oklahoma's defense